In today's video, I want to talk about perfectionism and my own struggle with perfectionism. So let's get into it. Hello, my name is Liz, and I am a recovering perfectionist. In case you don't know me yet, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a vocal coach, and I've struggled with perfectionism for a lot of my life and musical career. I'm also a singer with muscle tension dysphonia, and I strongly believe that one of the ingredients that has created my muscle tension dysphonia is perfectionism. My channel is called Mind, Body, and Soul Singing because I've realized to heal, I need to work on my mind, body, and my soul. So perfectionism resides in my mind. So that's why I'm sharing with you today the steps that I take to manage my perfectionism and to heal from perfectionism. So I want to start with, what is the definition of perfectionism? So the definition is a refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. Oof, right there, that sounds rigid, tight, inflexible, painful even. That's been my experience. It's been very painful being a perfectionist. Now, let's look at what is the opposite of perfectionism. To me, the opposite of perfectionism is authenticity. And the definition of authenticity is that you're true to your own personality, values, and spirit, regardless of the pressure that you're under to act otherwise. I've realized that I have become a perfectionist because who I am authentically is not good enough. I've carried with me that belief that I am not good enough the way I am. It is not safe to be who I really am. And I need to be perfect in order to protect myself and to cope with these deep feelings of not feeling good enough. Now I want to share with you the 3 ingredients that make up the perfectionist, so you can look for them and watch for them in your life and in your mind. Number 1, the judge. So I've been judging myself. I'm judging myself right now on this video. Is it good enough? Am I saying the right things? Am I missing something? Yeah, the judge. Okay, so what is the judge? So we can even imagine what our judge looks like. So for me, maybe it's a version of myself with glasses, and I have the, what is this? The gavel. I'm banging it. And that's the judge. The judge I've used in my life to motivate myself. So I motivate myself to change and to be better and to do better by shaming and criticizing and judging myself. And what I've realized is that this judge has conditions on their love for me. It's conditional love. And the expectations are so high, I can never reach them. So I understand why I've used the judge. And, I talk to my students about this, and when I tell them that using the judge to motivate you to change and to do better will actually just traumatize you and hurt you. And then my students are like, well, then how will I do better if I'm not judging and criticizing and shaming to make sure that I do better next time? I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to just say I'm good how I am. Food for thought. Maybe you are. But that's not even what I'm trying to have you do. We can replace the judge with friendship, the ally, unconditional love. So imagine this little person in your mind that is your friend, your bestie, your ally. Using that energy, using that to motivate you, to grow and to change where you feel like you need growth and change. This bestie unconditionally loves you. There's no expectations. Doesn't that feel lighter already than the judge? It just feels relieving. So I encourage you to look for that judgmental voice in your mind. And when it happens, I encourage you to lovingly say, no, thank you, judge. You can go over here in the corner. I know what you're trying to do, but these days we have better skills. And we are going to invite the ally, the bestie in, and I'm going to roll with that instead. Okay? So I'm not shaming and criticizing the judge, because that kind of you're just doing the same thing. But instead, you can compassionately say, no, thank you. I have new coping skills to help me grow. Number 2, all or nothing, black and white thinking. So perfectionism is an absolute, right? It's an answer. But life is not that way. So when we are thinking in absolutes, when we have black and white thoughts, all or nothing thoughts, always is a thought I will have. Always, I'm always terrible. I sucked on stage. I did a bad job. This song is awful. Thoughts like that, they're absolutes. And they keep the perfectionist feeling safe because we want control. And this world and this life is intense, right? And there's this feeling that we don't have control and we want to control. So this is where our black and white thinking comes in and tries to save the day. It tries, but we can say, no, thank you. This is not working for us. And I've used the absolute because it's comforting to know the answer, to know that I'm all bad. Okay, so now we can work with that, right? But the reality, thank God, the reality is there are no absolutes. There isn't just one answer in this life. The reality of this life is that there are multiple truths. We live in a gray world or a rainbow world. It's not just black or white, but it's a rainbow of truths. And that can be uncomfortable for the perfectionist that wants an answer. But when we have black and white thoughts, those are distortions. Those are lies. It's not reality. So when you have that thought, I would like for you to say, oh, black and white thought. Okay, how can we pull out all those colors? So what are the multiple truths here? Yeah, I made a mistake on stage. Maybe I made 2 or 3, but what about everything that I did great? Like I nailed that note. I love how I handled, this mistake. I loved connecting with my audience. I had this moment where someone cried in the audience. My guitarist didn't hit the right note there, but he did incredible on that arpeggiating, difficult section. So do you see how there's so many truths? And to cultivate that will heal the perfectionist. It will create more flexibility. It will create less conditions and lower expectations and you'll be living more in a rainbow world than a black and white world. Oh God, I hate that world. Last but not least, number 3, perfectionist dreaming. So I used to do this a lot and I still do it. But now that I know what it is, knowledge is power, and I can see it happening and I say, no, thank you. I know a better way to dream. So what is perfectionist dreaming? Well, perfectionist dreaming is, it's never okay with now and what is now. It's always in the future. And living that way robs me of my worth now, and my art now, and my good enoughness now. I like to think of the saying, what you do today is your tomorrow. So that's really helpful to frame it. When I recorded the Liz Bills and the Change record, I was suffering from terrible perfectionism. It was debilitating. I wanted to throw the record in the trash. It was just all terrible. And I remember dreaming that in the future I could have a great record with, these kinds of musicians and this style of genre, and writing and with this person, and everything will be better then, but not now. And that dream never comes, does it? Another example is my friend, a brilliant artist. He has never released music. He's never gotten on stage because it's not good enough now. It's not right. He's not ready. It's not perfect. We don't have everything in order. And unfortunately, we've been robbed of his art because he won't show it to anyone. And I hope that he can recover from his perfectionism and show his art. But it's these kinds of perfectionist dreams that are the killer of us and our art and who we really are. So it really all boils down to, at the end of the day, is self-love. It sounds corny maybe and cliche, but self-love is not corny or cliche. It's the most powerful thing that you can harness. And I think perfectionism is a form of self-rejection and fear and control, and it's debilitating. And I see that in this culture at times we put the perfectionist on a pedestal and we'll say, oh, she's a perfectionist. Wow. That's why she's so amazing. But no, let's take the perfectionist off the pedestal. No, thank you. And before I go, I just want to leave you with a few honest examples in my life of the work I've done, because I want to say that when you start doing this work, it may not feel liberating. It may not feel free. It may not feel easy at first, because we've become the perfectionist for a reason, because we did not feel safe. So the perfectionist is there to protect us. But when we put down that armor and we show our real selves, that is scary, and that is brave, and that is courageous. And no wonder we didn't show ourselves, because, oh my goodness, how scary is that, to show yourself on stage in front of 1 billion people, or whatever, one person even, share your artwork, which is, it's a piece of you, like to show that to people is a brave, courageous, scary thing to do. So when you start doing this work, it can feel dysregulating and not good. but just know that this is a battle worth fighting. And I think good things in life take work and intention and don't always feel good right away, right? Like, I don't always want to go to the gym. I don't always want to meditate. I don't always want to go to bed or eat healthy, you know? I don't always, but like when I do, it's like, whoa. I don't always want to exercise my voice, but when I do, it's like, wow, my voice feels better than before. So I just wanted to say that because it can feel dysregulating. So an example is I played a show solo, and I shared songs on the piano about my grief and my pain, and I had never shared them before. And I went on stage and I performed, and my muscle tension dysphonia came up. It was in my voice. As someone who manages muscle tension dysphonia, it came up. And I sang through the set, and then after the set, I didn't necessarily feel incredible, even though I was authentic and real and honest. And I shared like really deep, painful parts of myself with people as an introverted, sensitive person. I didn't feel good. And then I reflected on it and I'm like, why? Well, because of everything I just said, right? We're not always going to feel good doing it. Of course, there's many times where we do feel great, but I did not feel so good. And after the show, a speech therapist came up to me and she said, wow, I noticed you have muscle tension dysphonia and you did such a great job. And I said, thank you. A deeper part of me was like, what? You found me out? You saw me? You saw who I really was? I don't feel safe right now. I did a bad job and they know that I have a voice problem. And that's where my mind went at first. And I was like, no, it's okay. She's giving you a compliment. And you know what? I agree. I did do a great job, you know? And it was so hard singing these songs and it was so painful. Like, of course, my voice is going to emote that as well. You can hear my voice a little right now because I'm emotional and I'm very connected to my voice. So us muscle tension dysphonia peeps are very connected to our bodies. We are very sensitive people. And so the work was to replace the thoughts with, well, what did I do here? I was an ally. So I said, we are not going to judge this. Instead, I'm here for you. I'm going to hold you, Liz. That was so hard. You did such a great job. Like, you sang with the muscle tension dysphonia and you did good. Like, and I'm proud of you. And that was hard, and I understand, and you were brave, and you made someone cry in the audience, and you made people laugh, and you showed you, and you were beautiful. My goodness. You know, when I had the all or nothing thinking, like, oh, my voice was awful, I couldn't control it. That's not true. There were moments, there were certain notes that were tough, but I went for it and I sang those notes, and I had this incredible connection. I made incredible connections with lots of fans after the show that could see my authenticity and wanted to talk to me about my pain and my art and wanted to be with me because I'm good enough and I'm so loved. And look at all the people who came out to see me play. And I'm so proud that I like finished these songs and I like shared them with the world, with my world. And that was the work of replacing the black and white thinking and then perfectionist dreaming, you know, instead of thinking, well, that performance sucked, but dreaming about how I could be in the future and how I could be happy then with the performance. I say no thank you. Though this was a tough performance and I have lots of feelings, lots of different feelings about it, I'm very proud of myself now, and I really love my art, and I think I have a good voice, and I'm so blessed now to like write music and to share it with people and to be brave enough to do it. And that's the work. And I just came home from a show today, and I'm recording a record now, and I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor. So in the studio right now, I'm not feeling very anxious. And when I do, I tell my band, and I replace it with I am statements. Like, I'm going off on a tangent, but what I will say is, recording this record, I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor. I feel relaxed. I feel like I'm good enough. When I don't get the perfect vocal take, I'm an ally to myself, and I say, that's okay. We can punch that part. You got this. You can try as many times as you want and take breaks. Like, we'll figure this out together. It's going to be fine. And the show today, I didn't nail every vocal part, because who does? No one does. No one's perfect. No one can sing perfectly. But I'm just going to go there. I have a great voice, and I've worked really hard at retraining my voice and retraining my mind and working on myself. So yeah, I have a great voice, and I did a great job, and I can validate myself right now. I don't need anyone's validation, the audience or anyone. And I felt light, and I felt good, and I didn't experience muscle tension dysphonia today. And it really does work. So this video is not perfect, and I'm not perfect, and that's the point. I invite you to print out this PDF. I'll put it down here and hang it where you need to see it. And so you can retrain your mind, so you can live a happier life as a singer and a songwriter, or just a singer, or whatever that is. You can just live a happier life. I love you, and you are good enough. You're enough right now. And you're so beautiful, and I hope that you can look around and see all of the abundance and all of the beauty. And I hope you can look in the mirror and hold yourself and kiss yourself and caress yourself and be that bestie to yourself, that amazing friend. If that's hard for you, just imagine someone that you love, that loves you so much, and copy what they're doing. Pretend that it's their love. If you can't do that, think about an animal you love and apply it that way. And you'll get there. It's baby steps. It's worth the fight. Love is a crazy fight that is worth fighting for. You can be your best friend. You can be your biggest fan. Until next time, subscribe if you want, like, share. I release new videos every Friday. I have an Instagram channel, Mind, Body, Soul Singing. Let's build community together, and let's not do this alone. Let's do it together.